I'll call this meeting of the school committee for the city of Lewiston, Maine to order for Monday, March 14th, Pi Day 2022. Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will start with committee member introductions. Ms. Paquette.
Good evening, Karen Paquette, Assistant Superintendent.
Megan Parks at large.
Janet Bowden, Ward 2.
Elizabeth Ames, Ward 3.
Jake Langlis, Superintendent.
Bruce Damon, Ward 1.
Tanya Whitlow, Ward 4.
Ashley Medina, Ward 5.
Paul Bobelant, Ward 7.
Linda Scott, City Council Representative.
Let the record show that Ward 6, Megan Hurd, has an excused absence. The next item, number 3 on the agenda, is the consent agenda. Are there any items that members want to remove from the consent agenda and set aside? Seeing none, the consent agenda is adopted. The next item on the agenda is public input. Members of the public may address the school committee for up to 3 minutes on non-agenda items now and on agenda items later. Comments that pertain to staff, personnel matters, or student issues should be directed to the superintendent or the appropriate staff member of Lewiston Public Schools. Public comments shall be directed to the school committee, be brief, not repetitive, and related to the matter at hand. Before starting, please state your name, address, and affiliation to the Lewiston Public Schools. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the committee? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next item is to recognize Lewiston Public School students. Mr. Superintendent.
Well, we have a unique opportunity tonight. In just a moment, we'll call up the 2022 Class A State Championship Girls Hockey Team. But before we do that, and their coaches, and before we do that, I'd like to see if Kristen Klucher could come to the podium to share a little bit of news from the State House, the delegation.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Hi, everyone. I actually don't have news from the State House, but if my fellow legislators want to join me over here, I thought we could introduce ourselves. So as Superintendent Langley said, I'm Kristen Cloutier, I represent House District 60, which is part of Lewiston in the House of Representatives.
And I'm Margaret Craven, and I represent House District 59, which is also part of Lewiston.
And I'm John Connor. I represent House District 58 in Lewiston.
And John never needs a mic.
Never need a mic.
So if we want to have the team come up, that would be great.
The horseshoe around you.
Yeah, probably.
Congratulations, by the way, all of you. We were so proud to be up there.
Horseshoe around.
Great job.
So I married into a big hockey family, so I feel like super honored and just grateful that we're able to present this legislative sentiment to the team. And so I thought I'd just read what it says and then see if you all want to take a picture with us. That'd be great. So be it known to all that we, the members of the Senate and House of Representatives, join in recognizing the Lewiston High School girls hockey team, which won the 2022 state championship, the team's 4th state championship. We extend our congratulations and best wishes, and be it ordered that this official expression of sentiment be sent forthwith on behalf of the 130th legislature and the people of the state of Maine. And it's signed by the Speaker and the President of the Senate. And I'll give you the envelope.
So thank you so much to our delegation for coming to present that award. We also have a certificate, and we'd love to get a picture of all of you with our local leaders so that we can remember this and share it out. Congratulations to all of you. Very good job.
Where's the camera?
Oh, I think wherever Jake is.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna take the picture? Okay. Yeah.
Ms. Gish, can you share that picture with us after you're done? Can you- Thank you.
Smile, Chuck. Great job, all. Thank you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to stay for the whole?
No, absolutely
Sign
not.
it.
No, thank you.
Coaches have reported that there will be no speech this evening.
Thank you.
Grab your stuff, girls.
Yeah.
But we'll continue to agenda item number 6. We're going to change the order just slightly. The agenda says we'd start with Article 2, but we're going to skip to Article 3, LRTC first, and then we'll come back to Article 2. Mr. Callahan.
Real. Well, thank you very much for the invitation to be here to present our LRTC budget this evening. My name is Rob Callahan. I am the director of the Lewiston Regional Technical Center. And I guess I wanted to just outline the way in which a CTE budget works in the state of Maine, which is a little bit different from the rest of the K-12 budget. There is a separate adequacy formula that the state uses that begins with looking at a given center or regions, the level of programming they have, the number of students they serve. No, that's okay. I'm getting the hook already. I don't know. I
No,
usually
no,
take much
no.
longer to bore people. I'm sorry.
No, the hook will come from up here, Rob, not from over there.
I
So-
appreciate that, Mr. Damon. Thank you. That's okay. So as I said, this EPS, the CTE EPS calculation looks at things like the number of students served, programs that we offer, costs for building, staffing, and new programming. And this is done on an annual basis that the business office here in Lewiston, and that's Lewiston Regional Technical Center's fiscal agent, reports out expenses, student counts, and all that good stuff from the previous year. The state then tabulates that number and calculates an EPS subsidy formula in our ED 279 report every spring. So what that reflects basically, that's the number that we'll begin with, and we move from there. As I said, this is an annual calculation. It's important to note, though, unfortunately, and I know some of you have heard me say this in the past, this does not include things like equipment, which are a pretty significant, part of the education that we provide students. It also does not calculate, especially for a center like Lewiston, and we are the largest regional technical center in the state of Maine. It does not factor for student enrollments that are excessive or well above the norm, and we would fall into that case. So for example, I have one student services coordinator, which the formula provides for. And a lot of centers are at the 200 or 300 or 400 person number. Our student services coordinator advises 750 students. So it's quite an ask, but we make it work. As I said, this is, as far as the state is concerned, this is special revenue that goes from the state to provide services for our catchment area. So it's not just Lewiston. We serve students from 6 districts. That would be Oak Hill, Levitt, Lisbon, Edward Little, Poland, and Lewiston High School students. And again, that's our catchment area. And so those students come to us on a daily basis and we provide service. So thinking about this year's budget, it reflects a couple of exciting things that we're continuing the level of programming that we have and adding some things at different levels. So for example, the last time I was here to present, we talked about expanding 9th and 10th grade programming. And that was something that we started slowly last year. And we're working this year to bring even greater numbers of 9th and 10th grade students into our CTE exploration program, which this school committee was good enough to support us on. This is a critical area. We've heard this, I know some of you have had this discussion with over several years, but we feel it's a critical time in our lives of our students who feel like there's a disconnect from what I'm doing in the 7th and 8th and 9th grades and the need to engage in an experiential process. Now, thankfully, they're beginning that and getting a real exposure to that at Lewiston Middle School, which is incredible. But they want to continue in 9th and 10th grade. And we're limited, frankly. Tyler and I work to do our best to try to make those offerings, but this is a program that we feel the CT exploration program is quite significant and it's been impactful. So we're pleased and proud to continue that. The other things that we're offering, again, our expansions into our co-op and intern program. We have more students than ever that are working in the field. And as I know you know, our local employers are crying out for that. So that, for example, right across the street, our Green Ladle is sending sometimes as many as 10 or 12 students on a daily basis to work lunch shifts in local restaurants, in meaningful. The biggest cost driver for next year, and just to be very honest, are two cases. First is the replacement of some of the stuff, supply money that was funded by ESSA last year, and that moved from our instructor supply fund under ESSA. So we're good in that regard, but it needs to return to our local market, so it's pushing there. And then for anyone who's been to Home Depot recently, or Lowe's, you try to buy a 2x4 or a sheet rock or a gallon bill. We're looking at some hyper inflationary type cost drivers that are really making the work we do is need those materials.
Bruce,
Requiring those.
all of a sudden the audio stopped out of the blue. So I just need to check something real quick, and I just don't want to go too far and not have it captured. That's bizarre.
Yeah, just. We did nothing, it just suddenly put up.
Wow. Zoom just had a moment. Well, right now, basically Zoom has just cut out of audio and video both. So we haven't had this happen ever before. I think I'm going to have to back out and restart Zoom.